let's delve into communication with your listener, with my listener, with the listener's listener, before, during, and after the podcast.
Well, in regards to listeners, I think that giving value on every episode that you produce, and when I say value, I'm not just talking about the actual conversation. I'm talking about audio quality, consistency in your release schedule, making sure that if you are going to go on a hiatus and take a little bit of a break, you communicate that with your audience so they know, so they don't think that you just abandoned them. Because what I think a lot of podcasters fail to realize is that whether their audience is 10 people, 30 people, 100 people, or 5,000 people, there are people invested in what you're putting out. And if you're not respecting the audience, no matter what size it is, to continuously give them that content, then they're going to say, all right, forget it. I'm going to go over and talk to this guy and see if he can give me the value that I want, because people will work your podcast into their life every time you put out a new show. So if they do it while they're walking the dog or at the gym or on their commute to and from work, you've got to be thinking on that level that if you're like, I'm going to take the week off, you're robbing your audience of the content that they seek. And then if you do that enough times, it's the boy that cried wolf. All right, well, I'm out. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to check out this new podcast. And if they get roped into that one and they love that content, now they're listening to that show instead. Now you've lost a listener. You're trying to grow your audience, but you're going backwards because you're not focused on consistently being in front of them. To me, that's the strongest way you can communicate with your audience. And then you can reach outside of your actual podcast by doing live videos, by doing polls, by starting an email newsletter where you can communicate with them that way. There's a ton of different ways that you can stay in touch with your listener. But to me, consistently producing valuable content is what's going to keep them bought into what you're doing for as long as you keep doing it.